Hey everyone, in this video, we'll be going through the essential skill of calculating percentages in Microsoft Excel. Whether you're analyzing sales data, measuring performance, or tracking growth, knowing how to work with different percentages will help you gain insights on your data and help drive better decision making. Today we'll be covering 3 topics, the first one being how to calculate percent change, the second one being how to calculate percent difference, and the third one being how to use the PERCENTOF function to help calculate the percentage of a total. And with all that said, let's get into the video. In this dataset, we have a list of products and their categories along with financial information such as last year's sales, this year's expenses, and this year's profits. We also have columns for each of the topics in this video that we'll be doing our calculations in. Let's begin with calculating the percent change in sales. In general, percent change is perfect for comparing data period over period. In this example, we want to see how the sales numbers change from last year to this year. There are 2 formulas that we can use to calculate percent change, which are shown here. Comparing these 2 formulas, the first one is a little more intuitive in my opinion because you can see the change in value in the formula. But I also appreciate the simplicity of this formula where you don't need the brackets and you only need to select 2 ranges rather than 3. We'll use this formula here to calculate our percent change. So with our cells selected, I'm going to type in an equal sign, and then I'm going to select all the values in this year's sales column. Then I'll divide that by all the cells in the last year's sales column, and then -1. This will produce this build array of results, and we can go ahead and format them by selecting all the cells and then selecting the percent icon up here. Looking back at our results, we can see a couple divide by 0 errors for some of the products. This is because some products are new and therefore have no old value. So to fix this, we can go back into our formula and use the if-error function. So if this value returns an error, we're going to return a 0 value. Then pressing enter, we got rid of the divide by 0 errors, and with that, we have calculated the percent change in sales, and we can move on to calculating the percent difference in sales. The percent difference is ideal when you're comparing 2 values directly. The percent difference formula is shown here, where you find the difference between 2 values being compared and taking the absolute value of that, then dividing the absolute difference by the average of the 2. So with our cell selected, I'll type an equal sign and then use the absolute function. Then I'll select all the cells in this year's sales column minus all the cells in last year's sales column, and then divide by the average of the 2. So we're going to add all the values in this year's sales column plus all the cells in last year's sales column, and then divide by 2. Alright, now pressing enter, we get these results returned to us, and we can again select all the cells and format them as percentages by clicking the percent icon up here. With these columns now calculated and side by side, we can really see the difference between the 2 types of percentages. One of them looks at an increase or decrease in value from one period to another, and the other one looks at the relative gap between the 2 numbers themselves. With the percent change and percent difference columns calculated, let's move on to the last 2 columns related to calculating percentages of the total profits. The PERCENTOF function makes it super easy to find out what percentage a part of your data is compared to the whole by adding up a subset of values and dividing it by all of the values. So in this cell, let's type the equal sign and then type in %of. And for the data subset argument, since we're looking at the percentage per product, we can just select this one cell, and then for the next argument for data all, we can select all of the cells in the profit column, then pressing the F4 key to keep those cell references in place, making it an absolute cell reference. Pressing enter, we get this result returned to us, and again, let's format this as a percentage, and then we'll use the fill handle to copy that formula down for the rest of the rows. Alright, so moving on to the last column, which is more or less the same, but we'll be doing it by category. So in this cell here, I'm going to type an equal sign, then %of, and our data subset argument, instead of selecting a single cell, we're going to select all these cells here for this category. And then for data all, we'll select all the values in the profit column. Then pressing enter, we get this result returned to us. We can format that as a percentage like this, and then we can move on to the next category. So here, we'll type in %of again, Our subset will be these cells here, and all will be all these cells here. Pressing enter, we get this result. Format that as a percentage. Then for our last one, percent of again. So our subset will be these cells. And for all, we'll select all the cells in our profit column. Pressing enter, we get that result. Change that to a percentage. And just as a quick sanity check, if I sum all of these three up, we should get 100%, which we do. And that's how you calculate 3 different types of percentages in Microsoft Excel. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the next video.